I'm Hillary Sibyl, and I'm here to show you today how to make a pot that you can use for gifts for the holidays. It's something like this. This is one I made for Easter. I used some puffy paints, I painted it, and I added a little paper handle to it. So it kind of looked like an Easter basket, and there's some Easter grass in there, but that's one way to do it. This is another one I made for Halloween. Also can put candy in it and so forth. I've got pumpkins and a tree branch with leaves falling and ghosts on that one. So those are the models. And I'm going to start by using this pot. These are pots you can find at the garden center at Home Depot or places like that. In the summertime they're easier to find, but you can still find them now. And the first thing you do when you start with that is you take a paper towel and just wipe it out. Make sure you get out any crumbs of clay or whatever. You don't want that messing up your paint job and so forth, right? Okay. You need, for this activity, you need paintbrushes. These were bought at the dollar store. Very, very inexpensive. You want, for such a small thing like this, you want fine brushes, and there's a wider one too, which will be useful later. Paints, I like acrylic paints. They dry quickly, you can blend them easily, and if you get it before they dry completely, you can paint, you can take them off, rub them off, or you can paint right over them because they're opaque. So this is a box that was bought at Michael's craft store. This little packet was at the dollar store. If those colors work for you, they're not very Christmassy, but they're okay. I use Mod Podge at the end. You will see you can get this at any craft store, Michael's, Joann's, whatever. And Mod Podge will make give you a nice shiny finish, and also like these have. This one doesn't, but this one does. Gives a nice shiny finish so that it looks a little more finished, professional sort of thing. You also need water for your brushes, couple of pencils with erasers if you might, you'll see in a moment. And I use paper plates as a palette. So I will squeeze out a little tiny bit of paint. You don't need a lot for this. And I can mix it right on there. And then in the end, I can just toss the paper plates. So that's where we begin. Okay, so what we're doing here now, last night I drew a little design. So for what I want, this is the pot. I decided to do some evergreen branches. This will be easy to paint with some brown and some green. And then periodically at certain points, I've drawn a couple of ornaments that might hang on a tree. This one's going to be just a ball. This one is going to be a teddy bear. I think no more than 4 would work on here. I didn't put anything at the bottom, but you could certainly do white paint with a little glitter on it. We have some glitter here that's easy enough to find at the dollar store also. And that might make a little look of snow. Yeah. So the first thing you do is you take your pencil and you start drawing. So you're not doing this freehand, because I certainly can't. So I'm not sure if you can see. And I sort of like do them in different shapes so they look a little more natural. I'm actually going to use a very fine paintbrush to make the needles. And you can have them come from higher up. And just make sure your lines kind of follow the curve of the branch. You want it to look like nature. You want it to look natural. This isn't meant to be perfect. You could also do a different leaf look, more like a pointy leaf, and that would look like a holly plant, and then you could put some red dots for holly berries if you want. Okay, so I'll continue by drawing my other parts. The look is supposed to be something hanging off a tree branch. So I will draw the thread or wire to hang it, and then I'll draw a nice Christmas ball and decorate it, and I'll do the teddy bear about right here, and then I'll do another couple on the other side. You don't want to crowd it too much, so I'll do that, and you'll see the result in a little bit. Okay, so here you see that I have made my ball. I made a little mistake here. It's okay. The paint will cover it. If I'll show you in a minute if you make a mistake where there isn't going to be paint, what you can do about that. Here's a teddy bear. This is a star. I just drew the outline. I'll do something with some white and gold paint on this one. And this will be a candy cane. And I don't know if you can see it because I erased it. Use my eraser. But I put the star too close to the teddy bear, and it was a little crowded, so I moved it over. And once we finish painting, you won't see this because I've erased it, and we'll put Mod Podge over it, and you won't see a little bit of a smudginess there. I can do a little more erasing too if I need to. So now we start to paint. And I think I will start with the star. So just lay it flat. I'm going to select my colors. The really nice thing about acrylic paints is that they blend very nicely. So I've got some white here. And just a little bit. I really don't need that much. Now I've got this here, so I'll keep that in mind. I'm going to take a medium fine brush, something like this. These are not fancy brushes. These are not artist brushes. These are just for at-home kind of fun. If you have better brushes, so much the better. So I'm going to get it a little wet. A little bit of water will thin out the paint a little bit, because you don't want to go globby right from the tube. And then I'm going to paint this. And if I don't think it's dark enough, I will do more. I might add a little bit of yellow to it too to make it a little more shiny. And I'm just painting within my lines, sort of like coloring in a coloring book. And I think I'll add a little more because it's a little bit light. But I am going to add some bits of yellow to it to make it a little more metallic looking. Yeah, I think so. And of course I'll need to do a very fine line for the wire that is hanging on. Okay, so I'll put that down for a sec. Get some yellow paint. Do the same thing. Give myself just a tiny bit. I need to poke it a little more. There we go. All right, maybe I'll use yellow on another piece. I'm not putting the paint back in the box yet because there's still a little bit left on the top. I don't feel the need to wash this brush yet because I'm going to mix this in a little bit. So I'm just going to get a little bit on the brush and just do a little bit of yellow on top. I think I will need some more white as well. I can see the streaks of yellow. That's very nice. You can also, if you want, you can do little bits of yellow to make it look like it's shining. Some brightness there. There, way this is going to mix a little bit. I want to keep it a little more opaque than it is. Use my thumb or my finger to clean up that edge there. And I'll look like this. I didn't put on too much paint, but once it's all dried, I'll have a look at it, and if I think I need more, I'll add more. More yellow. The hardest part, I think, is getting to these points so they actually look like points. Yeah. Okay. And now I'm gonna rinse this off. Never leave a paintbrush bristles down in water. It's very bad for the paintbrush. Let it air dry. I have two cups of water here, and I can always go into the kitchen and get more if I need to. Rinse it out when it really gets muddy in there. You don't want to be washing all that. You're just going to get the muddy color on everything. Okay, so I'm going to dry the paintbrush off on my apron a little bit. I want to dry her because I want to get just a little tiny bit. Actually, nope, I'm going to change my mind. And I'm going to go with a smaller brush for the wire that's holding the star. And it isn't even that fine. There. All right. I'm thinking maybe I will do a little bit around the outer edges of the star to make it stand out more. But maybe not black, maybe brown. I'm leaving the other paint on the plate because I may need it again. I may need these colors again, so I'm very careful about not wasting too much paint. Come back and use it. So I've got a brown here, it's burnt. All right. Put that there. Dry the brush off because the water will just dilute the paint. Oh no, that's only once I with the brown. Okay, mix a little black in it. Okay. There. Oh, that's nice. That makes a nice definition. Got a little black in there. So I've mixed a little black and brown accidentally, but it actually works. Mixing them up. Okay. These are not fancy brushes, as you can see, so this is going to be a very rustic looking pot. That's okay. You can turn the pot around, and you may have noticed before what I was doing is if I'm doing something very delicate, I will use my finger to hold my hand still if I feel the need to do it. You can do it actually on the pot too if you're not right next to where you're painting. So I've got a nice mix there of black and brown. Gives us a little definition on the heart, on the star. And yeah. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. Is it a professional artist's work? No, it's mine. All right, so I'm going to leave that. I might go back and add a little more yellow around it. And I'm going to move on to another part of the cup here. I might do these because I have the brown out already and work on these. So we'll come back. You'll see in the end when everything is done. Make sure if you're going to lay the pot down, make sure and anything there is dry. It doesn't take long for the acrylic paints to dry, but make sure it's dry before you lay it down. Otherwise, you're going to smudge up everything. Okay, so in a little bit, you'll see what the whole thing looks like when it's painted. One thing I did not say before, I should have said, is acrylics wash very easily off of skin, but they do not come out of clothing. So wear an apron, wear old clothes when you're doing this, especially if you're a messy person like I can be, because it's they work really well, but they do not come out of fabric. Okay, so I've painted all of the branches, the wooden part. I'm going to do the needles in a moment. You can see that I went around this star. Maybe you can see that some of it's shiny, but it's almost it's almost totally dry. I probably will do a little touch up on it in a little bit, but you can see that. So now I'm going to take out my forest green. If it's too bright, I'll add a little black to it to make it a little more wintry. I have to see what the color looks like on the paper plate. Yeah, I'm gonna add maybe a little brown to that, because I think that's a little bit too bright for Christmas. All right, I'm gonna go back to this one here, the finest brush I have. I'm gonna move a little brown over here, mix it in, a little black, so that we have a darker green. Yeah. And now, okay, too much on there. For this it has to be very, very light touch. And I'm following the lines of my drawing, but I'm doing oops. Okay, still wet, I got it off. Okay. You really don't want a lot here. Which means I'm gonna have to keep loading up my brush. Okay, so the candy cane is done. It's certainly not perfect. It's small. If you are going to be doing this and you don't want to get really, really detailed in tiny spaces, don't make anything small. This is your project. You do exactly what you want. I think I need to add some more green here because it doesn't look very green, but I'll get to that. Okay, I move on. Well, I touched up the branches a little bit because I didn't think they were green enough, and now I'm going to go into do the teddy bear.
And what color are you using?
The brown, which you can't really see because it's really similar to the pot color, but I'm going to give highlights and do the lines so that you can see where his little arms start and where his little belly is.
So you're outlining the picture right now because the brown background is already dry, right?
It's not.
No?
The paint isn't dry, but it's dry enough for me to do this. I'm doing very little brown, very little black on there right now. There's very little black on the brush. A lot of it's soaked in. You can't really see that, but there's very little black on the brush. Paint it all. Very, very little bit. Okay. To do the eyes, I'm going to try this and see if I can just do the hard end of the brush, the back end of the brush. Because it's so delicate and so tiny.
So you're dipping the back of the paintbrush in the paint?
Yep, just for the dots. Not getting much there. This is not easy because you gotta be very, very careful. Oh, close enough. Okay. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of pink on his ears. So I'm blowing on it to dry them off right now. A little pink, which is a mixture of red and white, on his inside his ears. There's a little pink right there. And we're just going to do a couple little dots of pink in the ears. Oh, good enough. I'm going to do a freehand, a little bow or scarf just out of the side of his head there. It's going to be like a ribbon or a scarf, I guess you would say. I did not draw that by hand. I'm just doing it like that. Because a lot of teddy bears come with their own ribbons or bows. There. Kind of looks like he has wings, but that's okay. We know what it is. Okay. To do the ornament now, I'm going to hold this very carefully. And we'll just, all I'm going to do is, I'm going to do the same thing I did for the teddy bear, or no, for the candy cane. I'm going to paint the different colors on it first, and then I'll do the outer edge. So a little white in the middle. So I've got red and green already on my dish. I don't want to use that. That's too. What's up? So we're gonna do a little red here. Got a little zigzag going on. The zigzag's gonna be white. Green, because those are Christmas colors. I'm laying it on pretty thick because I want these colors to be bright. Really want these brushes as dry as possible. Better brush would be one that comes to a point, but we don't have that here. And you know what? Another thing you can do, which I may do afterwards, is once it's dry, get a Sharpie. If you have colored Sharpies, that would be great. And touch up with a Sharpie, because that's permanent also. I have a collection of Sharpies in many colors, there we go, which may that I'm using. Okay. All right, let that dry. Yes, we're going to let it dry. It has to be really, really dry, which won't take very long. It's not going to take hours. Make sure everything is dry. Make sure nothing is shiny, because that means it's still wet. And then we'll put on the Mod Podge. Oops. Yeah. Okay, so about 15 minutes later, the paint is entirely dry. I have a couple little touch-ups to do, and I'm using my colored Sharpies. I want to add a little more definition for the ribbon around, or scarf if you want, around the bear's neck. I'm using a red Sharpie. And I see that we need a little more pink. It's such a tiny spot, and my brushes are not particularly fine point, so I'm just going to do a little pinking here, pinky here. I'm just doing some little Sharpie touch up. There we go, little shiny stuff there around the star. I happen to choose, I chose something that is kind of complex, but you don't have to. When you're making this, you could do something really simple. Something really, just swirls of color. It really doesn't matter. So I'm done with the painting. I'm gonna be done with that. So now that I'm done with all the decoration for now that I want to do, you can do whatever you want. You can do just an abstract colors of things, and you can do something from different seasons. It doesn't have to be this. I like to put a layer or two of Mod Podge on. It gives a nice glossy finish. You can see that on the Halloween one, maybe. I don't know. It is shiny. And I did not do it on the inside here. And in the interest of time, I won't do it on the inside here either. But I'm just going to paint around it. and let it dry. You can do 1 or 2 coats. Be sure when you buy this, you buy the glossy one. It also comes in a matte one, but that won't give you any shine. So you just dip it in. I've got a big fat brush here, and cover the whole thing. It won't smear the paint, as you can see. Just cover it all. It's gonna look a little bit, if you see you've got too much, you can, spread it around a little bit like that. You wouldn't leave that because that's too much in one spot. Keep your hand on the inside so you can just keep flipping the pot around, and we should be good to go. If you don't want to do this, you can go to a craft store and get some, it's like a spray can. It looks kind of like hairspray, but artists use this on their artwork. So you could take this outside, do that outside because it creates a lot of odor, and spray it all the way around. You could also add in to the Mod Podge some glitter. Put it in a little dish, dip in the glitter as you're doing this, and that will give the whole thing a sparkly look. I'm not doing that, but that's certainly a way to do it. And so I'm just going to keep doing this. By the way, the drying time for the whole pot was about 15 minutes. So it'll be a quick project. I'm almost all the way done around. I have to do the top lip, this top edge, and then we'll let it dry. Oh, see, there's a big spot. We'll let it dry.
How long does it take for the Mod Podge to dry?
Not very long. I don't know the exact number of minutes, but not very long, especially if you're just doing 1 coat, which is enough for this kind of thing.
So this will dry all clear.
Yes, you won't see any of the white that you see here. I'm just trying to smooth it out a little bit right now, that's all. So now you have the finished product, or I have the finished product. I'm holding it, I've got my hands on it, it's not sticky anymore, so we know that the Mod Podge has dried. Just wait till all the little white bits go clear, and you're ready to go. So now this is what you have. You can use it for any kind of gift you like. One of the things we recommend is throwing some candy in, maybe putting a ribbon on it, whatever you want, and you bring it to the person as a holiday gift. These happen to be, I recommend putting in wrapped candies. These happen to be the soft peppermint puffs, which we love in my house. But anything you want. You could do chocolates, you can do little toys for children. That's it. Remember, you don't have to try to do something as detailed as what I did. Please, you can just slather on different colors, whatever. You can do any kind of theme. It does not have to be Christmas. And just have fun with it. Inexpensive, and I think it's fun kind of activity for a holiday gift.
Thank you, Hillary.
Thank you.